That's not her name. The scream cuts through the noise like a blade, and for a split second, everything freezes. A crowd forms instantly on a busy Brooklyn sidewalk. Phones go up. People stop walking, because right in the middle of it all, 28-year-old Amara Cole is being grabbed by the wrist by an NYPD detective, and she looks completely blindsided. Not defensive, not aggressive, confused. "Ma'am, you need to come with us," the officer says firmly, already pulling her toward the curb. But Amara resists, not physically, just enough to plant her feet. "Wait, what? Why? You have the wrong person." Wrong person. You've heard that before, right? People always say that. So why does this feel different? The officer doesn't hesitate. He looks her dead in the eye and says a name that makes no sense. "Frauditor. You've been flagged in an active investigation." "Frauditor?" Amara blinks. "I don't even know what that means." Now, pause for a second. If you were in her position, would you panic? Would you argue? Or would you freeze exactly like she just did? Because something about this moment doesn't add up. Standing beside the detective is another officer, Luis Mendez, 35. He hasn't touched Amara. He hasn't said much either, but he's watching, closely. And his expression? It's not aggressive. It's uncertain. Meanwhile, Detective Ryan Halverson, 42, is already moving fast. Too fast. He pulls up something on his device, barely showing it to anyone, and says, "We've been tracking you for weeks." "Weeks?" Amara shakes her head, her voice tightening. "No, you haven't. I've never even been contacted. This isn't right." But Halverson isn't listening, or maybe he doesn't want to. The crowd starts murmuring. Someone whispers, "She doesn't look like she's lying." Another voice says, "Why won't they check properly?" And that's when something subtle but critical happens. Mendez leans in slightly and asks Halverson a quiet question. We don't hear it, but we see the reaction. Halverson ignores him completely. Now ask yourself, why would a seasoned detective ignore his own partner in the middle of an arrest? Sirens echo faintly in the distance. Backup is coming. The situation is escalating. And Amara? She's still standing there, caught between fear and disbelief, repeating the same words like they're the only thing keeping her grounded. "You have the wrong person." But what if she doesn't? Or worse, what if someone wants her to be the wrong person? Because in the next few minutes, this stops being a simple arrest and turns into something much deeper. Before we continue with this video, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for updates. The name that didn't match. Can we double-check the system? That's how it starts. A simple question, but in this moment, it lands like a challenge. Officer Luis Mendez doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't step in front of Detective Halverson. He just says it calmly, almost casually, but you can feel the shift immediately. Because Halverson doesn't like it. "We already did," he snaps, barely looking at him. "Already? Then why does this still feel unfinished?" Amara is now sitting on the curb, her breathing uneven but controlled. She's trying to stay composed, even as the situation spirals. "Please," she says, her voice softer now, more focused. "Just check again. That's all I'm asking." And here's the thing. You can fake anger. You can fake confidence. But it's hard to fake consistency. Mendez crouches slightly, bringing himself to her level. "What do you do for work?" he asks. "Graphic design. Freelance. I work from home. I can show you everything. Clients, emails, payments, whatever you need." No hesitation. No gaps. He nods slowly. "And the name Frauditor means nothing to you?" "Nothing. I've never heard that before in my life." Now, pause. If this was an act, it's flawless. Behind them, Halverson exhales sharply, clearly irritated. "You're wasting time. This is exactly how identity fraud works. New names, clean stories." But Mendez isn't listening anymore. He's looking at the tablet, really looking. Side by side, Amara's ID and the suspect profile.
At first glance, similar. Same complexion, same general features. But then, something small, something most people would miss. The eyes, Mendez mutters. What about them? Halverson fires back. They don't match. It's subtle, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. Amara's eyes are softer, rounder. The woman in the file, sharper, narrower, different. Halverson shrugs it off instantly. Angles, lighting, you're overthinking it. Are you? Or are you finally thinking clearly? The crowd is growing now. More phones, more voices. The pressure is building, and it's not just about Amara. It's about whether this arrest even makes sense. Then Mendez spots something else. Birth date, he quietly says. Amara looks up. What about it? It doesn't match the file. 3 years off. Not one, not a typo. 3. Halverson moves quickly to cover it. Fake IDs, happens all the time. But now it sounds forced.
And Mendez knows it. So he does something small but powerful. He steps away, pulls out his radio, and makes a call. Dispatch, I need back-end verification on a flagged identity. Halverson turns sharply. What are you doing? But it's already happening. Because if the system comes back clean, reveal. The system doesn't lie, but people do. The radio crackles, and just like that, everything goes quiet. Even the crowd, even Amara. Because this is the moment where the truth starts catching up. Dispatch to unit, stand by. You can feel the tension tighten like a wire about to snap. Mendez holds the radio close, eyes locked forward. Halverson, on the other hand, shifts his weight, just slightly, but it's enough to notice. Why does he suddenly look uncomfortable? Then the voice comes through. We're not getting a match on that ID. Silence. Not relief, not yet. Just silence. Amara exhales slowly, like she's been holding her breath for minutes. But she doesn't smile. She doesn't celebrate. Because even now, no one has said the words she needs to hear. You're free to go. And Halverson? He steps in immediately, too quickly. That doesn't mean anything, he says, his tone sharper now. These cases don't always show up on standard polls. The system isn't perfect. Wait, didn't he just say they already verified her? So which is it? Mendez catches that contradiction instantly. So we checked, but now the system might be wrong? He asks, his voice calm but pointed. Halverson doesn't answer directly. Instead, he doubles down. She fits the profile. We bring her in, we sort it out there. At the station, out of public view. Convenient, right? Amara hears that, and something shifts in her expression. This isn't confusion anymore. It's realization. They just want to take me somewhere I can't prove I'm innocent, she says, barely above a whisper, but loud enough. The crowd reacts instantly. Murmurs turn into voices. Yeah, why not check here? That's messed up. Let her go. The pressure is building, and now it's not just internal, it's public. Mendez raises the radio again. Dispatch, I need a secondary database check. Full clearance. Halverson steps closer, his voice low and tense. That's unnecessary. Unnecessary or dangerous? Because seconds later, the radio crackles again. Secondary check complete. Flagged identity Fraudulero confirmed. However, facial recognition does not match the individual on scene. Boom. That's it. That's the moment everything breaks. Mendez slowly turns his head towards Halverson. Then who are we detaining? No answer. Not immediately. And that pause, it says everything. The crowd erupts now, louder, angrier. Phones zoom in closer. Amara stands up slowly, her voice shaking, but stronger than before. So you knew? But before Halverson can respond, dispatch drops one more piece. The original flag on this identity was submitted by Detective Halverson. Everything stops. Again. But this time, it's different. Because now it's not a mistake, it's a decision. Mendez's expression hardens. The dynamic shifts completely. Because this isn't about a wrong suspect anymore.
It's about why she was targeted in the first place. And suddenly, Halvorsen isn't leading the situation. He's trapped inside it. So the question isn't, is Amara innocent anymore? It's, what is Halvorsen trying to hide? The air is thick. Every second stretches too long. Cameras are rolling. Phones are still up. The crowd presses in, murmuring louder, sensing the tension, but no one knows the full story yet. Mendez steps closer to Halvorsen, his voice low but firm. Explain it, now. Halvorsen hesitates. His usual aura of control, the confidence he's always relied on, falters. He glances around, not at Amara, but as if searching for an escape route. His eyes flicker to the crowd, then back to Mendez, and finally land on Amara. She's standing now, calm but alert, every motion measured. No longer just a victim. She's watching, calculating, waiting. Mendez isn't done. Show me your case history, all of it. Halvorsen tries to protest, voice shaking just slightly. But you don't understand how this works. But Mendez ignores him and radios it through. Moments later, the records arrive, and the pattern is undeniable. Multiple flagged identities, each with suspiciously similar profiles. Young women, all with minor differences, all dismissed. No convictions, no charges, no follow-ups. A system that should protect the innocent has been manipulated systematically. Amara's heart sinks, but something clicks, a memory from weeks ago. Outside a parking garage, she had argued with a man who had threatened her, saying, "You'll regret this." She'd brushed it off as road rage, but now she realizes the connection. That man? Detective Halvorsen. Everything falls into place. This isn't policing. This is personal. The crowd senses it. Cameras zoom in closer. Murmurs turn to shouts. It's abuse of power. She's innocent. Halvorsen tries to maintain his authority. You don't understand the stakes, he snaps. But no one listens. Not Mendez, not the crowd, not Amara. The realization hits. Cameras capture it all. The records, the discrepancies, the repeated targeting. Everything points to one conclusion. Halvorsen has been using his badge to settle a personal grudge. Mendez steps back, exhaling sharply, stunned. This is going to the internal affairs. Halvorsen's face goes pale. He's trapped. The manipulation, the false flags, the intimidation, it's all exposed. Amara watches, a strange mixture of fear, relief, and anger washing over her. For the first time, she feels the power dynamic shift. She's not just a victim anymore. She's a witness to justice unfolding. The crowd reacts, the tension peaks, and you realize the system that almost failed her is now turning on the very officer who misused it. But what happens next? How does the department respond? And what consequences await Halvorsen for the chaos he caused? The handcuffs click, but this time it's not Amara who's restrained, it's Detective Ryan Halvorsen. The sound echoes down the Brooklyn sidewalk, sharp, final, almost symbolic. The man who claimed authority, who tried to bend the system to his will, is finally stopped, not by the crowd, not by Amara, but by the rules he tried to exploit. Officer Mendez steps forward, voice steady, but heavy with the weight of what just happened. Detective Halvorsen, you are being detained pending investigation for abuse of authority, falsifying records, and targeting innocent civilians. Amara exhales slowly. Relief washes over her, but it's muted. She doesn't smile. She doesn't cheer. The trauma, the humiliation, the stress, they linger. She's safe, yes, but the memory of what could have happened is vivid. The cameras, the public scrutiny, the almost arrest, it could have ended very differently. Yet in this moment, justice feels tangible. Halvorsen is powerless. Officer Mendez apologizes quietly to Amara, acknowledging how close things came to disaster. It's not about politics or ego. It's about accountability. Over the next few days, the consequences unfold in layers. Halvorsen is suspended immediately. Internal Affairs launches a full-scale investigation. Past cases he handled are reopened, exposing a troubling pattern of wrongful detentions and intimidation.
Several women come forward, confirming what the records suggest. Halverson abused his authority repeatedly, and the department had overlooked it until now. Amara becomes the face of the story, reluctantly at first. She files a formal complaint, not out of revenge, but to ensure the system protects those who can't fight back. Legal proceedings begin. Social media explodes with public outrage, and trust in the PYD faces renewed scrutiny. Emotionally, Amara's journey is complex. The trauma doesn't vanish instantly. The what-ifs linger. The anxiety flares occasionally. But slowly, she rebuilds a sense of control. She realizes she survived, not because of luck alone, but because the system, flawed though it was, can correct itself when people refuse to stay silent. In the final moment, Amara walks past the same sidewalk where her nightmare began. There are no cameras this time, no sirens, just quiet. She breathes deeply, looking forward rather than behind her. The city moves on around her, unaware of the storm she survived, but she knows. The system almost failed, but it didn't. And for Amara, for Mendez, and even for the department, this is more than just accountability. It's a reminder that no badge is above the law. Closure has arrived, justice has been served, and life, while scarred, can move forward.